If you're like me, you probably grew up playing Call of Duty, more specifically the Modern Warfare series. For many of us, this is what got us into guns and even airsoft. One of the most iconic guns was the SCAR, which is what we're going to be looking at today. More specifically the SCAR L, which was featured in Modern Warfare 3 and was my favorite gun in the entire game. This one is made by CYMA, licensed by Cybergun. Out of the box, it features a full metal upper receiver and a polymer lower. The pistol grip and the stock are polymer as well. Included in this box is a metal high cap magazine, a nickel metal hydrate battery, and a charger that I would suggest you throw out and replace with a proper smart charger. If you are a US citizen, you will have a federally mandated orange tip out of the box that is secured by a pin and glue. Underneath that is 14mm negative threads. To start, as this is the L variant, it does use M4 style magazines, unlike the H, which uses its own proprietary 308 style. One of the first things you're going to notice holding this replica is the weight. Compared to the Archon I covered in the last video, the SCAR L is a whopping 7 pounds stock compared to the Archon being 6 pounds fully kitted out. So understand you're really going to feel some weight to it, and especially when you start loading it with attachments. If we take a look at the hop up, it is a dial style hop up. To adjust it, rotating it clockwise will increase hop, counterclockwise will decrease it. Going over some of the features, it has metal flip up iron sights. The front iron sight is built into the mock gas block. The charging handle can be swapped around to whichever side you prefer. The stock can extend and fold to the side, and it can even shoot while folded. The bolt catch does work on this replica, however doesn't hold on too tight to the bolt, so I would honestly hold that bolt back yourself and dial your hop up that way. The battery storage can be accessed by popping this pin out in the stock and removing the padding. You do get decent enough room for a battery, however don't expect to throw an entire brick in there. Now let's move over to the shooting test while we're at it. Using an 11.1 Lipo and Elite Force .25s, you can expect about 20 rounds per second in 380 to 400 FPS. However, that FPS rating is with .20s. If you use .25s, you should be looking at around 340 to 360. There is not a quick change spring, and I have opened up my replica as you will need to if you want to change what side your charging handle is on. Magazine compatibility is another thing I want to speak on, and I want to mention I am going off my experience here, as I only really buy the Elite Force Stanags, so let's get to that. The included high cap works very well, with zero feeding issues. I don't have a whole ton to say on it, however, you can count on them. I started to experience issues when I attempted to use my Elite Force mags. These are magazines I absolutely love, which is a little upsetting, as again, the best part of a SCAR L is being able to run M4 magazines. But it didn't stop there. After trying them again later, which you'll see here in the footage, they did actually feed a bit better, however, still a little hit or miss. Now, I'm unsure if maybe I just had to give the gun a chance and break it in some, so maybe that's the case. I can say it was the same way with the Lancer Tactical midcaps, hit or miss, so we're gonna skip that and look at the BAMF Gen 2 polymer midcaps made by EVIC. I can say these had much less issues with feeding, none with semi-auto, however, it'll skip here and there on full auto, but I don't want to blame that on the magazine, and again, this could just be some sort of break-in period as the replica has gotten better the longer I tested it. You can expect break-in periods with new guns, and the CYMA SCAR is not an exception, and I don't want to give myself or you, the viewer, a bad taste of this replica from CYMA if that's what is happening here, so do take these issues with a grain of salt. Now, let me remind you, this is just an initial one-day review, and I absolutely do plan to run some games and come back to it after 6 months as well as next year to give you guys some follow-up reviews, as I believe showing long-term reliability is so important for you guys to know about before making a purchase of any replica. Let's talk aftermarket. One of the most popular accessories you're going to be seeing people go after for the SCARs is a rail extension, the most popular being the MREX Rail by PTS. These are confirmed to work by other owners of the CYMA SCAR, but I haven't been able to get a hold of one myself. There's also the Classic Army Picatinny extension, and for that I would say proceed with caution, as I can't confirm or deny whether those will work or not. I have even asked ChatGPT to take a look around the internet for me. If you own a 3D printer, you will be in luck to hear that there are plenty of files you can download for rail extensions, and if they don't work right away, you can always make some modifications to fit your needs. Those files can be found on Thingiverse. You can easily get this replica off of EVIC. The base replica can be purchased for $239 USD, all of which will be linked down below. Back at the desk for my final thoughts, should you pick up this SCAR L? I will say, regardless of the very minor issues I ran into, I am very happy with this replica. Having a scar of my own, whether it's airsoft or real, has been a dream of mine since using it in Call of Duty for the first time in 2009. I love that I can have a non-M4 while getting to use my M4 magazines that I have a ton of. I feel that may be the biggest selling point for buying the L variant. Although it is Lipo ready, I do wish it did have a MOSFET in it, especially for the price. Now, would I suggest you run over to EVIC and go buy this right now? Well, that's up to you. I personally want to revisit this gun later this year and talk about my experience using it after some time with it. I also do want to get a rail extension and throw on a longer inner and outer barrel to make this a nice alternative that I can use at outdoor fields. I think it could be a little better for its price point, but I have enjoyed my time with it so far. But anyways, if you like this video, why not drop a like, and if you want to see more like this or be notified when I make another video on this replica, make sure you subscribe. Tell me some replicas you want to see reviewed next, or even share your experiences with the CYMA scar. This has been TSP, and I'll see you on the next one.